Sunrise Daily, well, keeping our focus on the 3 years of Buhari administration. We've got Nurain Hassan, a member of the APC, joins us now. Thank you for coming on this morning.
Thank you very much for having me.
Well, we keeping our focus on this particular matter. I know you have heard severally how some people are still dissatisfied with the performance of the APC 3 years on. From your perspective, how would you say? Would you say that they have a point or not?
Well, to be very honest with you, there are people that will have grievances. It's only natural in any form of government, or especially when it comes to new administration. For me, I'm very satisfied with the performance of the government. I do understand that there are shortcomings, but progress is a process.
So those shortcomings, doesn't it validate the point that those who say they're not satisfied make?
As I said earlier on, progress is a process, and through that process there might be little hiccups here and there, but the most important thing is the mandate and the objective remains the same, and we work towards fixing and making things better.
What's the objective?
Objective? You see, we came a long way. The president came in with a new vision, a vision to change. He made 3 promises, which is what? Diversify the economy, employment, fight against corruption and insecurity. This is the core mandate. And since the president came in, there are people that have thrown in challenges from all sects. But what is important is the president remained and steered its course, never gave up, despite having different challenges.
So let's look at some of those. You talked about employment, because in your manifesto, it was clearly stated 3 million jobs a year. And of course, at the moment, would you say that they met that promise?
Well, we are on the way of making that promise, but we have come close to
3 years
in the
on?
sense that, yes.
It was supposed to be 3 million a year.
Let me go there. You see, I'm sure you're all familiar with the social investment program. You have the conditional cash transfer, you have the N-Power scheme, and you have the school feeding. Now let me take the one thing that people don't pay attention is to the school feeding program. If you look at the project of the school feeding program, you need to look at the whole supply chain of the system. You have local farmers that are now manufacturing food. You have the people distributing food. You have the people now delivering this food, and you have the people serving this food. So this is one whole sector of employment that nobody really looks at.
Which in total has created how many jobs?
Give or take, we're looking at almost 300,000 to 400,000 jobs.
Which is a far cry from
Yes, but that is just one aspect of it. When you look at other spheres of the government, for example, I'll give you another example. Agriculture. The government have empowered over 500,000 farmers today. I am from Borno State, and I can tell you for free today, despite our security challenges, agriculture is still booming. You have fish farms that are doing okay. You have farms, rice mills are coming up. So as I said, progress is a process. It cannot be perfect. You would have challenges, but the most important thing is how do you manage these challenges? And whether we accept the opposition, who are people who are saying, okay, you're not trying well, you can't deny the fact that we're giving it our all.
Yeah, but do you accept that, yes, they're making valid points that you have shortcomings?
Shortcomings are common everywhere. Give me the best economies or the best governments, and you'll see shortcomings.
You've not answered the question. Do you accept the fact that you have shortcomings?
Well, we're not perfect, but we are working our shortcomings. That is the most important thing. I would not stand and tell you, no, we are properect, because it's unreasonable.
Let's look at some of those things you mentioned. You mentioned the school feeding program, but we have responses from those who are watching who are saying it's not happening in their state. We had a guest here who said it's not happening in our local government area, but you say it's a viable venture that's at least supposed to give jobs to at least 400,000 people. But then these people are saying it's not happening in their localities.
You see, it's easy for people to say it's not happening. But if you look at the size of the country, it's impractical for you to deploy something on a general scale. So what we took it is through pilot phases. Now, in the states that it's present, it's going, but on momentarily basis, it's increasing and we're expanding.
But is it the responsibility of government to feed school children?
Is it?
Is it the responsibility of government to feed school children?
Let me add something. It's not just the responsibility. The government should be doing more. to both children and the older people in the society. This is why the president made it a mandate to ensure that women, older people, are able to get 5,000 naira. This is what, out of the sympathy of the average Nigerian man. You see, everything takes time. After how many years of other rulership, I don't want to start doing the blame game or join the blame game, but we have taken a course. It isn't easy, but we are still persevering. Now, this is just the first 3 years of it. And hopefully, this is the foundation. By the time you lay the foundation, the structure gets easier to come up with.
Nobody ever thought that governance was easy. I mean, nobody ever thought it was going to be a tea party. That's the reason why your party fought very hard. I don't think that the campaigns were a tea party either. They must have gotten a glimpse of what was to come through the campaigns. The question is, now that they're at the helm of affairs, 3 years down the line, are they providing, are they delivering on some of the promises that they said they were going to deliver on? Let's look at the aspect of security. I mean, the government criticized heavily the former government on the area of its handling of Boko Haram. It didn't blame it for letting Boko Haram come, to being, but the handling of it, which was poor, might have led it to escalate and, become something that became a hydra-headed monster, which this government is still battling till today. But then look at how it is also handled this crisis between so-called farmers, herdsmen crisis, because in many instances what we hear is bandits in one area. Depending on the area where the thing is happening, you hear herdsmen or you hear bandits or you hear all sorts of names. A lot of people have faulted the handling of it in such a manner that, almost on a daily basis, we're beginning to see people losing their lives. How would you explain the grip of this government on this particular security challenge?
You see, security is a multidimensional problem. When you're dealing with insurgency in one side, you're dealing with other problems of other sides. So the government is trying its best to handle these problems. You see, the major challenge, I'm not a security expert, so I would be very careful with what I say. But we would all agree that in terms of insurgency, the government have been able to contain the problem of Boko Haram. Today, in the same way you hear things, well, they're doing a remarkable job, because they have been able to contain the activities of Boko Haram, and they're already clamping down.
Even in that area, a lot of people say that intelligence is still a problem. Gathering intelligence and ensuring that, people who are recruiting the suicide bombers, a lot of them young girls and sometimes young boys as well, we're not being able to stop that particular flow.
Well, suicide bombers is one thing. You can say today in this administration, we have less of that problems. And to say suicide bombers, intelligence, let me be very careful in the sense that I am not a security expert. So
yes, but you come from, you already told us that you come from Borno State.
Exactly.
And,
now, I would tell you, being a citizen of Borno State, we have seen it all. But today, things are better. You have the whole crisis of Boko Haram has been contained, and they're gradually shrinking down the size of their presence. You see, the problem you're having is Sambisa is huge. Sambisa is sharing border with 3 different countries. So how do you manage?
Can I tell you something? Only recently, sorry to interrupt you, I spoke with the senator representing one of the districts in Borno State, Senator Ali Ndume, and he did acknowledge that yes, quite a lot has been done, especially in the military aspect, but what really needs to be done right now. He had raised the motion last year, sometime in November, about the worrisome state of suicide bombings. What needs to be done is on the area of intelligence gathering. He acknowledged that much. Do you think that the government, even in the area where it believes it's making progress, where people have said, oh, government is making some progress here, would you say that it is acknowledging enough its shortcomings in those areas to see how it can better tackle them?
Absolutely. Progress is a process, and you get better by improving. This is it. And with every passing day, with every rising sun, I can tell you for free that people are working hands-on. I, for one, had people from the grassroots, from my state, calling to tell me, okay, they're happy with the way things are. At least it's better than what they used to.
But you know that there was an attack in Maiduguri not long ago.
Yes. But the attack didn't last from what I heard, 15 to 20 minutes, they were repelled and they ran away. Once upon a time, these people would come in, shoot people's houses,
So does that still mean that it has been contained, even though that attack can happen in Maiduguri?
Yes, it has been contained in the sense that they do what you call outside. They come with a very pocket-sized militia, they attack and they run away, they disappear.
As a Nigerian,
yes,
observing what has been happening in the last couple of months across the country, would you say that you have been satisfied with the security situation across the country, not
across
just in Borno State?
Well, I can say I have, but I will also accept that there is room for improvement. And I will add that with every passing day, with every rising sun, things are getting better. You see, for example, the crisis you have mentioned. Nobody denies it. This is a problem. Today you have people coming out saying, no, this particular herdsmen are not herdsmen, they're a faction of this. Next time you hear, the next thing is maybe it's a community clash. But with every challenge that comes, we are acting on it. And the one thing you also have to factor in, with every person here, statistics show that crimes will only get higher. The reason is not because the crimes are really getting higher themselves, it's because social media have brought in an age where people are more or less journalists. So with the higher the number of people have phones, the higher coverage you have on ground.
Does that mean that those things are not happening?
No, they are happening. But with time, these things appear even more because you have people now. Once upon a time, say 3 million people had social media devices. Today, 5 million people would have, which means that you cover more grounds and you get more information on these things.
But I thought your party knew that before, while they were campaigning, that's always the case.
Well, that's the case.
All right, let me just put this out. We did talk about Jama'ah local government, but I had people who have responded. He mentioned that the school feeding program in Jama'ah local government has 312 cooks. He says that there are 167 schools and about 20,000 pupils are benefiting from that. But then there's another response that said that was discontinued after 8 months. So I guess this will not be, there will be no end to these arguments going back and forth. Nirain Hassan, thank you for coming on this morning.
Thank you very much for having me. It's always a pleasure.
All right, then we'll be back in a moment. Don't go away.